3 Digital Literacy Program. This is week 3, Introduction to Workflow Automation. I will cover a guide on how to automate various workflows, as well as improve your work productivity using those workflows. So moving forward, last week we talked about Google Drive and Microsoft Office. Now, we're going to start with basic automation tools, specifically Zapier and AutoHotkey. Now, these can be used in tandem with Google Drive to increase productivity even more. So, what is workflow automation? It's specifically the use of software to automate repetitive tasks for workflow efficiency. We will teach you how it works, and you may be even able to do one of those your own. So, Zapier is a application-based tool. Using workflows called Zaps, you don't need code, and you can use this tool to automate workflows instead of a programming language. AutoHotkey is more like a scripting language, so you have to learn to kind of code to automate the tasks. So it's more explicit than Zapier. So Zapier needs Zaps, which are workflows that connect to your applications and can collaborate smoothly with other Zaps. Each Zap has at least two parts, a trigger and an action. Whenever a specific event triggers, it automatically causes an action in another application, without you having to do it yourself, making it more efficient. Now, Zapier tables are interesting. They're automatable databases that help you manage your data. So you can collect data from a specific source, and it'll help you automate managing the data. So it can track stuff like submitting a form can be put to the table, or ordering the product can automatically go to the Zapier table. And it's also integratable with other components, so it helps you have more control over the data with other automation tools. Now, Zapier interfaces are interesting. Make web pages, forms, and a lot of stuff. It's a with just the interface without having to write anything. You drag and drop text fields and stuff like that. And what it does, it's directly connected to your workflows. So unlike a normal application, this one will connect directly to your workflow and help you automate that specifically. So if you want to do a website, you can do the interface and it can easily connect to your table, like entering contact info or credentials or anything like that. Now, what is a trigger? Answer by self before I tell you the answer. Now, the answer is the event that starts automation. Now, I don't have the capabilities to open Zapier due to my computer, but go to Zapier.com and sign up for your Google account. And next step is to choose a Zap. There's actually many different options. Now, choose a Trigger app. It's integratable with the workspace, so Google Forms or Docs, and define the event. Then select your action to store the data. And after that, you can actually connect your account with your Google one and see if the Zapier workflow works. Now activate the Zap. Once you activate it, your workflow will start working for each new trigger. Now, how to automate triggers. You create or use an existing Google form, either forms or sheets as a trigger. Now, make a new spreadsheet row as the event. This tells Zapier to act. So whenever new row is added in the spreadsheet, then Zapier will act. Now connect your Google account and select the correct spreadsheet and tab. And all you have to do after that is use a form to make sure Zapier is actually taking in the correct data. Now with Google Sheets, you can actually make that as the action. So if you do something, it will make something in Google Sheets. The other way around. If you do create raw spreadsheet, Zapier will actually modify that to add data. So it's good for data collection without doing it manually. Now you can make fields in the sheet columns and it will insert responses like name, email, or role. So in these things if you can map them correctly. Now, now run a test. I know I said run a test for each slide, but it's important because you have to make sure it works properly. Why do you think it's important to test your automation before answering it, or activating it? I think it's important to test it because sometimes workflows can get pretty intricate, and if you don't test it correctly, then you may just select the entire thing and it may not work. So you have to make sure it runs, and then it's safe to use it. Similar to testing an app. Now here are some advanced actions with Zapier. If you connect it to Slack, this is like a team-based communication tool for like office groups or something like that. You can actually send messages with it automatically. So you can use form that to send emails with email or Outlook with Zapier. Now stack actions you can make one trigger cause multiple actions, like sending multiple messages. Now here are logic filters. So you can make Zap proceed only if a specific criteria is met. So this will help you filter your triggers for what is there. Now, if you put multiple filters together, it'll help you reel in everything that is of the filters you set. Now, which Zapier filters are most closely similar to encode? For loops, libraries, booleans, or if statements? I'll give you a few seconds to answer. The answer is D, if statements, because filters and if statements work the same way. It selects certain conditions out of a subset of different responses. Now this is now introduction to AutoHotkey. AutoHotkey is a scripting language by creating macros. So macros are literally stuff that acts like acts like a human on the computer. So it it can do stuff like move your mouse without you doing it. It's been created all the way since 2003. So unlike Zapier, AutoHotkey you need to write scripts. So it's like a programming language. You have to actually code here. You have to run it on your desktop because it needs access to your mouse and keyboard to run the macros. So it's more like has higher control over your computer. Now, do you think it would look different, the syntax of AutoHotkey from Python or Java? How different do you expect it to be? I'm going to leave this question open so you guys can answer it. Now, the syntax is actually similar to Java or C++, with some connections to Python. Like Java, it supports object-oriented programming, so you can create different variables and objects with command-based programming, so you can run stuff and create structures. With that combined tool, it's actually easy to pick up. I've actually used it before. Now, to set it up, go to autohotkey.com and download 2.0, not the 1.0. And after you install it, like go past all the installed stuff, you can make a new script and edit it. Now, just use anything you want to edit it with. Now, run is the simplest thing. Run will just open the application that you have. Run notepad.exe. This will open Notepad. Now, once you save it, you can open it in the AutoHotkey dashboard, and it'll open. Now, here's a task for you. Create a program in AutoHotkey to open the Spotify app. And here's a hint. Basically, it says the answer, but try to do it yourself to see how it works. Now, using hotkeys, they work similar to keyboard shortcuts, like a combination of keys to make multiple actions. The up arrow is the control key or the command key, so basically it helps you do shortcuts. Control J will help you type different texts, and double colons are used for a hotkey sequence, so to press multiple different keys. So this will be able to type the text to my first script. Now here's a task for you to do. Create a script that opens a blank Google document, and after that, uses AutoHotkey to type binary tree. Now, now create your own automation as practice. You can't just watch it, you have to do it yourself. And see how and compare it with others. You can learn different habits or programming styles with AutoHotkey from what others do. Now, overall, Zapier and AutoHotkey are both useful for automating boring tasks, but they're certainly different. Zapier connects apps and makes triggers at a high level, and AutoHotkey writes scripts and just makes macros, like a programming language, and has higher control. We learn how to make zaps using triggers and actions, and a simple AutoHotkey to open websites and type. Thank you for attending. Next week we're going to learn about good and bad websites with web development.